NCAA Midwest Regional Semifinal. Boston College and Memphis State. The officials, as we mentioned, Charles Baca, Don Shea, and Hank Armstrong. The standby official is Lynn Shortnessy. Memphis State in the white uniforms. The highest seed wears the home white uniforms. I should say the lowest seed and the highest seed wears the dark. Keith Lee controlling the opening tip, going to Andre Turner. Puts it up, 2. Turner opens with a basket, and Boston College down court quickly. Steal by Turner. Drives in for the reverse, can't get it. Michael Adams gets it down to the other end quickly for BC. Jacks it up. He's got it.
Well, right off the bat, we see the two little floor generals taking control from an offensive scoring standpoint.
And Boston College comes out, as they normally do, at the opening bell with the full court press. Memphis State gets it down to Baskerville Holmes. His jumper is short. Rebound, Askew inside Bedford. Good job on the boards by Trevor Gordon, the junior college transfer. The little man, Michael, puts it up again unsuccessfully this time. And here comes Andre Turner. Cool customer, this youngster. All but one member of the Memphis State basketball team are homegrown products. And that one is roots in Memphis. In fact, he was born in Memphis, one of the reserves. Keith Lee with the turnaround. Short of the mark, out of bounds underneath. It will belong to Memphis State. Score tied at 2. Game just about 1 minute and 30 seconds old. Turner on the outside. Good shooter, 50% field goal shooter from the perimeter. Lob pass inside, intended for the 7-footer. We got a whistle, and the first foul of the game will be called inside, either on Trevor Gordon or McCready. They're going to put it on McCready.
Now, Boston College is opening up with a flat 2-3 zone defense, Frank. They're trying to pack it in on the inside. And they're allowing MSU to try and score from the outside. They beat us from the outside first.
Bedford was surprised by that pass. Ball goes out of bounds. It will be a jump ball situation, and the arrow right now is pointing in BC's direction. There's Dana Kirk, the head coach of Memphis State, 49 years old. And his counterpart for BC, Gary Williams, age 39, former player at the University of Maryland. Last time the Eagles were in Dallas, Tom Davis was their head coach. He left shortly thereafter to go to Stanford. Nice pass inside. The turnaround goes. Roger McCready getting his first hoop of the game. And Memphis State pushes it down quickly. Memphis State has missed its last 4 field goal attempts after Turner opened with a basket. That one is perfect. Baskerville Holmes. We're tied at 4.
And Memphis State is back in a man-to-man defense. And again, this is the style of play that Roger McCready likes. At 6'5", he plays like a postman and uses that body so effectively on the inside. He actually sacrifices that body to draw the fouls.
Foul will be on number 43, Baskerville Holmes. And McCready will go to the free throw line for a pair. He shoots far and away more free throws than any other player on this Boston College team. He's a 6'5" power forward and very active, 73% free throw shooter. He had 15 points against Texas Tech in BC's tournament opener and added 20 against Duke. He's got 3 following that miss. 5-4, BC up by 1. Askew to Turner, cross court to Baskerville Holmes, who penetrates. Shot is short. Keith Lee comes up with the rebound, tries to drop it off to Askew, who almost lost it. Now sends it back outside to Turner.
Now those are the second chance rebounds that Boston College is going to have to do a much better job at preventing Memphis State from getting.
Keith Lee went crashing in there that time and picked up the personal foul.
Good job of blocking out by Roger McCready again. Excellent job of blocking out the big man. Take a look at number 20 in the crimson uniform. Does a nice job of going up for the rebounds and coming down with it Again, playing much taller than that 6'5" frame.
Lee fouled out with 4 minutes to go last week against UAB, but of course the Tigers came out to win it nevertheless. But he's been in big foul trouble. Adams with the circus shot almost gets it to go. They are really battling underneath.
Well, they're going to call it on, I think, Trevor Gordon.
Trevor Gordon, number 50, the 6'9" junior from Philadelphia, picks up his first personal foul.
Again, the aggressive play
to 2 apiece.
The aggressive play by Trevor Gordon, he needs to continue that to assert himself and make him known that he's there.
Trying to trap Turner in the backcourt.
A 1-2-2 zone defense now by Boston College, with Michael Adams playing one of the wings.
Turner with the miss. And going up into the seats trying to save the rebound is Dominic Presley.
And again, that 1-2-2 zone that Boston College is playing is designed to take away the inside action of Memphis State, daring him to shoot from the outside.
Bedford with the turnaround. William Bedford, 7-foot sophomore, with his first basket. He has had a tendency to disappear at times for Memphis State, which has concerned Dana Kirk no little. Penetration by Michael Adams, and they say that Turner was standing on the out-of-bounds line.
Now, that was one time Michael Adams could have taken the shot. One of the knocks against him last year by his teammates was that he had a tendency to shoot too much. This year, he's made it a point to look for his teammates a little more.
Bedford with the rejection. Dominic Presley nails that one. He's Boston College's most improved player this year. BC by 1, 7-6. Alley-oop to Bedford.
A mix-up on the zone defense that time between Roger McCready and Dominic Presley. They lost their assignments, and they paid the price for it.
So it's Memphis State now with a 1-point advantage with 15:51 to go. Gordon trying to get inside, walk. Trevor Gordon called for the travel.
I tell you, if this young man does polish his offensive skills, he can be some kind of force in the middle. He's got a pro football type of body, and he can throw that 240 around nicely in the paint.
Askew working the backcourt with Andre Turner. Baskerville Holmes, they're going to give Turner, looks like the 20-footer if he wants it. Penetrates, puts up a 12-footer. Does not draw iron. Saved by Gordon. Scrappy job by this BC team, and McCready is fouled by Turner.
Much better job on the defensive end by Boston College. Again, look at the guys scrap and hustle. There's Trevor Gordon showing good athletic ability, and Roger McCready comes up and protects the ball nicely. Now, Trevor Gordon has the agility. He played soccer when he was in high school, so the big fella has an advantage in that he can move.
BC will substitute Freeling. Trevor Gordon going to the hole and is fouled by Lee. That is 2 on the Memphis State All-American.
And Keith Lee definitely has a tendency to get in foul trouble. He's fouled out of more games by far than the rest of his teammates.
Dana Kirk shaking his head at the trouble that his big man is in right now.
I really like the early strategy or tactic that Gary Williams is employing by getting the ball to the big guys on the inside and letting them take it right to the strength of Memphis State. You don't shy away from them.
Trevor Gordon, who's averaged just 6.5 per game. Usually Gary does not recruit junior college transfers, but he had no one to put in the middle this year. So he went after Gordon, and he's done a pretty good job giving Boston College some strength. BC by 1, 9-8. Turner to Baskerville Holmes. Andre Turner tried to set it up. Holmes will take the jumper off the window, doesn't get it. Strong rebound by Terrence Talley. Down it comes to Michael Adams, puts it up. McCready with the follow, and we get a whistle and a foul, and that is going to be, was it on Lee?
They're going to call it on Lee, but it looked as if he had good defensive position to me. But give Roger McCready an awful lot of credit. He does an excellent job of detecting where that shot is going to come off the rim, and he moves to the right position.
Keith Lee has picked up 3 fouls in the first 5 minutes and 14 seconds of this game.
And again, look at how McCready read where the rebound was coming off and went up and drew what really was a very light body foul. Probably would have been a better no call, Frank.
Well, it hurts Memphis State tremendously, obviously. McCready 2 out of 3 now from the free throw line. McCready is 6'5", he weighs 210, averages 15 points per game, and he's been a terror since the tournament has started. Gordon with the little baby hook. Trevor Gordon gets his first hoop of the game.
And give the credit to Michael Adams, who saw him in the right spot, gave him the ball. Again, that will build Trevor Gordon's confidence.
BC ready to send in a couple of subs. They will go 10 or so deep. While Memphis State, on the other hand, maybe 70. Foul will be on Adams, following the freshman Askew. Adams' first foul. And coming into the game, Stu Primus, number 30. And another substitute, Skip Barry, number 33. Coming into the game for BC. 13-10. Boston College with the lead, 12:58 left to play in the first half. So the winner goes a berth against Oklahoma on Saturday. Bedford with the turnaround. Cans it.
The big fella has really improved his game. Got a lot of playing time last year when Derek Phillips went down with a foot injury, and he has really come along offensively.
You can see there how cold Memphis State has been here in the first half, hitting just 33% of their shots. Skip Barry, who's a good outside shooter. Into the corner to Primus. Primus was a part-time starter last year. The miss by Barry, and we get a foul called underneath. That'll go against Troy Bowers, who has also just come into the game for Boston College.
If there's such thing as a good foul, Troy Bowers did commit a good foul in that he was moving, trying to position himself for the rebound, just got caught by the official.
Once again, the BC full court press. Turner, no problem. On this trip down the floor, getting it across the center line in ample time.
Now this is actually a hybrid zone defense that BC was showing prior to the shot by Willie Beckton.
Willie Beckton, 6'5", senior, knocks that one down and puts Memphis State out in front 14-13. That is the 6th time the lead has changed hands. Primus. Stu Primus gets his first basket. Senior from Lynn, Massachusetts. You don't see this type of zone very much, do you?
Well, I mentioned that it was a hybrid zone defense. Actually, they disguised the 1-2-2 by putting 2 guys up high and Michael Adams in the middle.
Beckton, who can get hot. He's a streak shooter. And Willie Beckton coming off the bench, replacing Keith Lee, who's in foul trouble. It's his 2nd in a row and puts Memphis State back in front by 1. Primus taking aim, doesn't take the shot. Barry with the turnaround, spins it off the window, the follow, and Bedford comes up with it, loses the ball. Players all over the floor. How's that for an exchange for you?
The zone defense is really working well for Memphis State because they get a chance to exercise their height by intimidating the BC players when they start to drive. The man-to-man defense that MSU played really worked better to BC's advantage.
Trying to work the lob pass to Baskerville Holmes. It was too high. It'll be BC's ball out of bounds. Roger McCready coming back into the game. Memphis State with a 1-point advantage. Memphis State has made its last 4 field goal attempts. So they're heating up to the occasion.
BC also has Terrence Talley in there as well as Troy Bowers, and the reason for that is to get more rebounding on the offensive end.
Nice pass inside. The shot forced a little bit by Troy Bowers, but we get a whistle and a foul.
I think they're going to call it on Terrence Talley.
Talley, the 6'4" senior. That's his first personal foul. Team fouls are even at 5 apiece. Becton taking the inbound pass to Andre Turner. Quick as a whippet.
Well, as long as Memphis State has Andre Turner in there, they can handle any press thrown at him. And Coach Kirk said he would be quite surprised if his team didn't handle BC's press.
Turner with a miss that time, and Primus out-reaching Baskerville Holmes. Here comes BC on the run. Out of control with the ball in the air, Dominic Presley. And Memphis State picks up the turnover. Turner on top to Becton. He's hit 2 of those. Rebounded by Bowers. Down court quickly. It is Primus with the one-hander.
BC definitely prefers the up-tempo game again, and they're doing a good job enforcing a few turnovers. Good steal that time by Terrence Talley.
It is BC by 1, 17-16. McCready trying to penetrate. Instead dishes off. We got an offensive foul on the baseline. Gary Williams obviously doesn't like it. The call will go against Terrence Talley of Boston College, his second.
Talley actually made his mind up what he was going to do with the ball before he took a look at the defense, and that's the price you pay.
By 1 over Memphis State with 9:19 left to play in the first half. As you look at Gary Williams, the head coach of the Boston College Eagles, bright young coach. And a lot of rumors that he might be headed in another direction after this season. The Providence job is open with Joe Mulaney retiring. His name has been mentioned in connection with that job. Be rather ironic because the last time Boston College was in Dallas, it was the year that Tom Davis left to go to Stanford. Again, the press by BC. Memphis State down by 1. Becton goes to Andre Turner.
There's a hybrid defense right there. 2 guys on the corner. Talley and number 30.
Turner's hit 2 out of 6 so far from the field, and they're almost daring him to take that 20-foot perimeter shot. Backs it out. Well, Loyola leading Georgetown 24-20. We saw those 2 teams last Saturday. And you know what they can do. Bedford with the basket. Loyola, great outside shooting team. Stu Primus gets it down quickly. Pumps. Whoa! Well, never found the range. That's 3 baskets from long range for him.
That was the athlete in him that time, because that was really a pretty poor shot.
Traveling call against Andre Turner. That is 5 turnovers. A couple of years ago, they used to call this man Andre Turnover, which was rather unkind, but he's been doing such a great job this year. They call him Andre Turnaround because he's helped turn around so many games for Memphis State. And that's certainly been the case here in the tournament. What would they do without him? BC working it around the horn, looking for the open shot. Adams takes aim. Some of the fans thought he traveled. Behind the back pass, almost gets away. Running down one down the midcourt was Terrence Talley.
Now the thing to watch on this zone offense of BC, as they move the ball, watch each player take a little step closer to the basket to get into good shooting position, as Stu Primus just did. They try to walk in a little closer with each pass to get into good high percentage shooting area.
Well, you hear a lot about zone defenses. You don't hear much about zone offense. Three-point advantage for Boston College. Askew, the freshman, misses the 15-footer. And the smaller Boston College team comes up with the rebound. McCready. Take a look at this offense we've been talking about here. Primus, who's been all over the place, gets away a shot. Becton grabs the rebound. Memphis State running. Turner, pull-up jumper. Yes.
That'll give him uncorked. Again, with Keith Lee out, you'll see Andre Turner decidedly take more of the scoring responsibility upon his own shoulders, and he'll start to put it up more often.
In case you joined us late, Keith Lee picked up his 3rd personal foul in just 5 minutes and 14 seconds deep in the game. Boston College, as we mentioned at the outset, a lot deeper off the bench than Memphis State, and that shows up in the points column.
And again, Frank, take a look at the offense. Watch BC as they try to move in a step closer with each pass.
Adams rings the bell. Michael Adams averaging 15.4 per game.
And the thing I like about this BC press is that when one player gets tired, you'll see him signal to the coach to send in a replacement. The key thing there is that they want to keep fresh legs in the game.
You can see Memphis State heating up a little bit after being in the 30s most of the game. Bedford's shot will count, and he's fouled. So Bedford having to take on a big role here with Keith Lee on the bench. Foul by McCready.
And again, the smartest thing that the big fella did, Bedford, he did not put the ball on the floor. That's one thing he's learned exceptionally well. So many big men make that mistake. When they get the ball down low, they'll put it on the floor, and those smaller, quicker guys will come in, and they'll steal the ball.
William Bedford, 7-foot sophomore.
Many people honestly believe that William Bedford has the potential to be one of the 2 or 3 best pivot men in the country by the time he's a senior.
Well, when he was a freshman last year in the regionals against Houston, he scored 21 points against Hakeem Olajuwon and got everybody's notice in a big hurry. Tied at 23. 4th time this game has been tied. McCready looking for help. Trying to force it inside, and Beckton steals it.
McCready had the right idea, didn't put enough zip on the pass. Askew was a 6'5" point guard in high school just 1 year ago. And here he is starting for Memphis State. Bedford, yes. Well, Memphis State is consciously trying to work the ball into Bedford to have him take advantage of that 7-foot height, and it's working well. BC is going to have to at least put a guy in front of him as well as a guy behind him in that 1-2-2 zone. That is 13 points for Bedford. Loyola still with a 2-point lead on Georgetown in the first half of that game. Well, you well know Loyola is one team that's confidence personified. They will put it up there, won't they? From anywhere. McCready working it on top to Talley. BC trying to be patient here. McCready puts up the 12-footer, doesn't get it. Beckton with the rebound. Bedford has hit 6 of his 7 field goal attempts, so they're looking for the big man inside. And Trevor Gordon trying to stay with it, and it hadn't been easy. Bedford doing a good job batting that ball back out toward Turner. Baskerville Holmes in the corner. Askew, 16-footer. The thing that's working well for Memphis State on the offensive end is that the big fella Bedford is moving into position. So therefore, the zone defensive Boston College has to respect him and play like a man for man. And when they slough off BC, that is, sloughs off, and they can hit the outside shot. Timeout, 4:17 left. Dick Stockton and Bill Raftery in our studio in New York. Scores and highlights of the early games tonight. That includes the thriller we had here in Dallas, in which Oklahoma beat Louisiana Tech 86-84 in overtime. Also an interesting feature on Sonny Smith, who has announced his retirement as head coach in Auburn, although there's some talk now that he may yet change his mind. And Auburn's still very much alive in the tournament with a big game against North Carolina tomorrow. 4-point lead for Memphis State, their biggest of the game. Good ball movement again by Boston College. All players moving, trying to cut into the slits. And Primus with the short touch. Oh, he has done some kind of job. Tell you, this young Stu Primus with his 5th basket of the first half. Baskerville Holmes can't hold it. It'll be BC's ball out of bounds with Memphis State leading by 2. Again, Primus. Strong rebound. The shot short by Troy Bowers. BC staying after it, but Holmes finally comes down with the board. Only mistake Troy Bowers made was fading away. Turner. Ball was going to roll it. No basket. That basket was going in. Ball was in the cylinder. Bad judgment on the part of William Bedford that time. But from an intimidation standpoint, not a bad idea to do that. As you take a look at Bedford as he comes in, should have let the ball hang up there by itself. But again, that reinforces in BC's mind that the height advantage is there. Memphis State doing a little trapping, giving BC
Little taste of its own medicine. Loyola leading Georgetown by 2. The report we get is that Patrick Ewing suffered an ankle injury in the first half, but walked off the court under his own power. And we'll have an update for you a little bit later on, I'm sure, at halftime. Dick Stockton will have all that for you. What a pretty move by the little man. Just an absolute great job of penetration by Michael Adams.
The key to that play was a skip pass. And a few years ago, the skip pass was not looked upon as a good pass against a zone defense.
Willie Beckton, long-range bomber for Dana Kirk.
Well, I'm sure Gary Williams is playing Willie Beckton by the book, and the book says he's not a prolific outside scorer, but he is. He's doing well.
Shot from the corner doesn't go, and the rebound comes down to Beckton, so he's doing it on both ends of the court. That was Mark Schmidt with that miss. Two little men playing on each other right now. Turner and Michael Adams. Askew looking underneath to Holmes. Goes to Turner. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. Again, Beckton. Foul will be on Bedford.
Good scrapping on the boards by Boston College. The difference so far in this game is what you and I talked about at the top of the show, the difference between the two teams, the big team of Memphis State and the small team of Boston College. Memphis State's front line is outscoring BC's 21-9. 13 of those points belong to William Bedford.
That is the first personal foul on the 7-footer. You see the time remaining in the first half. Memphis State leading by 2. We've had a dozen lead changes here in the first half and 5 ties. So it is anybody's basketball game. Primus, who's been hot, keeps it up.
Hard to believe that this young man actually loved football a little more so than he did basketball. He was an all-state quarterback in high school and could very well wind up playing football for BC come the fall. He doesn't graduate until December and has indicated an interest in playing football again.
Boyd has come into the game for Memphis State. Beckton with the miss. And the rebound to Skip Barry as BC gets it down quickly. Adams trying to penetrate. Pass inside. Stolen by Beckton. 1 minute left to play in the half.
Passes are too soft by Boston College, trying to hit their men in the post-up position. Passes have to have a little more zip on them.
Adams with the steal. Michael Adams rides in for the layup and puts Boston College back out in front, 31-29.
Michael Adams knows only one speed, and that's fast.
Memphis State looking for the last shot here. Dwight Boyd, 6'3" freshman from Memphis in the game. That's Boyd, number 31, standing on the outside. As you see the seconds ticking away here in the first half. It's been tight throughout. These fans here in Dallas have been treated to an evening's worth of entertainment and then some so far, with a great first game. And this one turning into a fine contest as well. Alley-oop to Bedford. And the foul is going to be called underneath on Boston College's Troy Bowers.
Very impressed with the movement of William Bedford as he continues to move with the ball. Take a look as he goes up for the lay-in. The ball just didn't drop, but a good job of moving without the ball by William Bedford, and an even better job by his teammates of hitting him with the perfect pass.
The big man for Memphis State, 13 points. Just 2 rebounds so far, however. 1 out of 1 from the free throw line. In case you joined us late, Keith Lee sat down with 3 personal fouls with 15 minutes and 46 seconds left to play in the first half.
And no points.
This to tie it. Tied with 4 seconds to go. Adams. Oh! Well, quite an entertaining first half. That is the end of the first half with the score. Boston College 31 and Memphis State 31. CBS Sports coverage of the NCAA Championship will continue. We mentioned Keith Lee with 3 fouls. Left the game with 14:46 left to play in the first half and did not re-enter. He is back in the game now to start the second half.
And to protect him, Memphis State is in that 2-3 zone defense.
Lee has not scored in this game. He has only 1 rebound. He had only 8 points against Penn in the first tournament game the other night. Traveling call negates the basket by Trevor Gordon of Boston College. And Gary Williams doesn't like it at all.
He's trying to make his point looking down at the floor, saying that the big fella, Trevor Gordon, had both feet planted.
Inbounds pass to Andre Turner. Memphis State with a 2-point advantage to start off the second half. Askew gets the pass inside to Holmes. Keith Lee with the follow, no good, and he is fouled in the next one.
We can talk about a bunch of ifs, and if Keith Lee had not been in foul trouble in the first half, he might have made the difference in terms of Memphis State trying to get out and get a little bit of an advantage.
Well, considering he was on the bench for such a long time, Memphis State did well just to hold its own. Lee, who will have his, actually has had his jersey officially retired by Memphis State. He'll become only the 4th man in the history of their basketball program. However, they said you can wear it the rest of the season. That's just fine. But they did have the special ceremonies at the final game, which you may have seen on CBS. Keith Lee with his first point of the game.
Memphis State with a little token 3/4 court pressure, but Michael Adams certainly can handle that.
We've had 7 ties in this game. The lead has changed hands a total of 13 times. And neither team has been ahead by more than 4. McCready on the drive. Ball knocked away, out of bounds, BC's ball.
Boston College is just not connecting enough on those high percentage shots. They couldn't ask for more in terms of executing their offense to perfection and getting a number of shots in the painted area.
Michael Adams trying to set up the out of bounds, goes along with it to Dominic Presley. And back to the little man who runs the show for Gary Williams Eagles.
Now again, let's see where they take the shots from.
Adams guarded closely by Turner, gets it away, tries to slam it off the window, and a nice foul by Trevor Gordon.
The big fella needs to do more of that.
Patrick Ewing has started the second half of that Georgetown game, which continues to be a tight contest. Here's BC flying down the floor. Presley on the miss. The tip-in try does not go by Terrence Talley. And now Memphis State running. Turner to Baskerville Holmes. Operating in the backcourt with Vincent Askew. Lee with a nice pass to Bedford inside. The basket will not count. He was fouled prior to the shot.
Memphis State is doing a nice job of spreading Boston College's defense as much as possible. You'll see them take their times on the offensive end, try to pass the ball around to spread that 1-2-2 zone to where they got a little opening to go to the big fella in the middle.
Trevor Gordon has now picked up his 3rd personal foul for Boston College.
Again, watch how Memphis State will try to pass the ball around and spread the offense to get the gaps, the big open spots in the zone defense.
Memphis State with a 1-point advantage. Keith Lee in the corner. Bedford with the turnaround. Nice shot.
Well, he's really got that touchdown, even with the hand in his face. The big fella is really looking good.
Leading scorer in the game now with 16 points. William Bedford. That's above his season average of 12. No surprise that Williams didn't start Primus here in the second half the way he was hitting the hole in the first half of play. Nice pass to McCready, penetrates, puts up the left-handed shot, goes down hard, and Keith Lee grabs the rebound. Lee does not run the court that particularly well. He's not fast. He had a knee operation, I understand, back in 9th grade. Hasn't really troubled him. Bedford gets another one.
Now, at some point, the consistency and ease that Bedford is scoring will probably...
And Memphis State has pulled out to a 5.
Not so easy because Bedford, not only is he 7 feet tall, he's got some very long arms.
Memphis State out in front, 38-33. BC with the ball, and Michael Adams running the show. Adams has scored 8, all from the field.
Obviously, Memphis State has enjoyed a lot of success with that 2-3 zone defense, keeping Bedford out of foul trouble and not allowing Roger McCready to exercise his inside moves.
Adams falls down as he launches the jumper. Andre Turner brings it up court for the Memphis State Tigers, who at least for the moment appear to have assumed control of this game. Keith Lee in the corner, hooks a pass to Bedford. Short with the jumper this time. McCready can't hang on to it, and Adams saves it from going out of bounds. Primus is back into the game. They need his shooting ability. He was hot in the first half. Missing his first shot of the second half as Askew grabs the rebound. Primus had an even dozen in the first half to pace Boston College's scoring. Look at this. Boston College has actually out-rebounded Memphis State, 22-20. UAB did the same thing last Sunday. Keith Lee with the miss, Bedford with the rebound. And as he tries to get the ball away, he is fouled. Gary Williams, the superstitious guy. Last week, they worked out at a Jesuit high school in Houston. When he came to Dallas, he insisted that he find another Jesuit high school to work out, and that he did. And they've been working out there most of the week getting ready for this game. They did not go back to Boston following their weekend in Houston. That last foul was on Adams. Keith Lee with the miss. Ball tipped out of bounds.
Now Keith Lee took that shot from the corner to try and keep the defense of BC's honest. The defense was sloughing off a lot on the big fellow, William Bedford. Again, he's got to at least make himself a threat so as to free Bedford up in the middle again.
Pass down court to Primus. Puts it up with the left hand, doesn't get it. Boston College is now 1 out of 9 from the field here in the second half. We are tied at halftime at 31 apiece, and Boston College has scored 2 points in the first 5 minutes. Lee misses, Bedford knocks it in.
The inside height and strength, same story, starting to hurt now.
BC missing its last 6 shots down the floor. Cross court to Primus. They've got to find somebody who can light it up. Adams gets a big 2 points. They needed that. So he's in double figures with 10, 40-35. Memphis State. 14 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Nice pass inside to Baskerville Holmes, who gets the 2. Michael Adams flying down the floor. Askew keeping those hands up. Adams in the corner. Primus. Presley drives the lane, tries to dish it off to McCready. It is Memphis State's ball out of bounds.
Now that's one time Presley should have gone up for the shot. He took it to the hoop, was right there at the basket with 2 men on him. Should have gone for the shot to attempt to draw the foul.
Pass comes into Askew. They say this young man, Askew, is going to be a big, big star for Memphis State. Even though Lee is leaving this year, the cupboard is not exactly bare for Dana Kirk. The foul will be on number 55 for Boston College. That's Troy Bowers. And that is his 3rd. Gordon also has 3. And Tyrone Scott, number 44, has checked in, replacing Bowers. Scott, a 6'8" freshman from Geneva, New York.
And Coach Williams of BC is doing all that he can to find some combination along the front line that can do the job to battle the big front line of MSU. Very impressed with the patience and discipline that Memphis State is showing on the offensive end, just picking away, chipping away, using their front line advantage.
Askew misses the 20-footer. The rebound comes to Keith Lee. And he sends it outside, and Memphis State will start it over again. Right now, the Tigers have their biggest lead of the game at 7 points. 13 minutes, 20 seconds remaining. Holmes with the fake has it ripped out of his hands. And the call goes in favor of Boston College. Good hustle by Dominic Presley. Dana Kirk saying move the ball. Georgetown and Loyola of Chicago still close, and Georgetown with a 3-point advantage. Loyola was ahead for a good portion of the first half of that game.
Well, Loyola certainly has done their job in gaining an immense amount of respect by the way they've played this season.
Basket Baskerville. Holmes gets a rest. And Willie Beckton, the outside shooter, comes back in.
Good high-angle view to see the zone defense of Memphis State moving around nicely. Again, a 2-3 zone setup. Good skip pass by Boston College.
The miss by Michael Adams from the corner. And Beckton grabbing it off the window. And Andre Turner doesn't appear to be in any hurry as he brings it down. Askew in the corner to Lee. Lee again got it. And is fouled.
Well, I talked about how Memphis State, if they continue to chip away with the inside, they will chip away and demoralize Boston College, and the second chance points are working well for them. As you take a look at the height of Memphis State, second and third shots.
That is Keith Lee's first basket of the game. Look at it one more time, and it's amazing that he's had only one basket, and they are up by 9.
Well, I like the fact that he's been unselfish coming back in the second half. Keith Lee has not tried to get all of his points at one time. He's stayed within the system of what's worked for them in the first half, and that's dishing the ball down low to Bedford. He's letting his adrenaline get him back into the game, Keith Lee that is, and now he's fitting in nicely.
Substitutions for Gary Williams' team. Skip Barry has come back into the game, so has Terrence Talley. Memphis State's front line has outscored Boston College 35-11.
And of course, that problem is made worse by the fact that Boston College's backcourt has really gone ice cold.
Adams back outside to Primus. Primus trying to penetrate too hard off the glass. Fight for the ball on the floor. Jump ball. And the arrow pointing in the direction of Boston College. So BC will have control. Primus back outside to Adams. Boston College now down by 10. They've scored only 4 points in the first 8 minutes of the second half. The rejection by Bedford. Here comes Turner for Memphis State.
And again, a good decision by Andre Turner. The easy shot wasn't there. He brings it back out, and he sets it up.
Askew off to Keith Lee, deep in the corner. Fails to ring the bell. Bedford gets the rebound, back outside, and that height advantage is really paying off now. Turner with the open shot. Yes.
Now, Boston College is going to have to do something drastic here. I would look for them to really go with an all-out full-court press to try and change the tempo right now.
Skip Barry, who's a good shooter, cross-court pass. And the driving left-handed layup by Terrence Talley. That's Talley, his first basket of the game. 10-point advantage for Memphis State with just over 11 minutes left to play. The steal, Terrence Talley. Scoreless until a moment ago. Talley gets back-to-back hoops for Boston College and makes it an 8-point Memphis State advantage. Turner, excellent ball handler. Keith Lee in the corner. Keith has really had his problems getting off the dime tonight, but Bedford has not. And William Bedford gets his 10th basket, the 7-footer, with 22 points. His career high happens to be 22 points. So he has tied that. 49-39. Adams with a nice pass, and once again it is Terrence Talley trying to keep BC in this game almost single-handedly. Makes it 49-41. Again, an update on the Georgetown-Loyola game. Hoyas lead it now by 5. Bedford with the miss. The tip in almost goes the first time, but Lee makes sure it goes the second time.
It's very easy to see that the Boston College players, their legs have gone from, especially the front line, they can't get up anywhere nearly as quickly as the front line of Memphis State. They're not jumping, and the big guys are taking advantage of the size.
Well, the blue people from Memphis love it right now. Their Tigers are up by 10 with 9:51 left right now.
And Frank, I mentioned that they don't have their legs on the off or the defensive end. Take a look. No crimson shirts are really getting up high at all. It's all white shirts, and they're tapping the ball around. The BC players are indeed tired. That front line of Memphis State has really worn them down.
They get going like a volleyball team on that offensive board, and they just keep knocking around until somebody gets it. In that case, Keith Lee. And Lee now with 2 baskets and a total of 6 points. But the big man for Memphis State has been the big man tonight. William Bedford, the 7-footer, tying his career high with 22 points, and we've still got 9 minutes and 49 seconds left to play. BC trailing by 10. McCready has it knocked out of his hands by Beckton. They say that McCready touched it last, I believe. Let's see.
He did.
Yes, it'll be Memphis State's ball.
Went off his foot.
So good defense by Beckton.
Here's a full court pressure I was telling you BC would probably have to apply to try and change things radically at this point.
Andre Turner guarded by Adams.
And they've gone to a man-to-man defense, Boston College.
Both point guards 5'10", working each other over. Lee with the turnaround. He can't make anything tonight. His 3 fouls early must have really rattled Keith Lee because he's really had his problems.
But again, this man-to-man defense on the part of Boston College is an effort to try and change the tempo, speed things up, force some turnovers. But Willie Beckton has got different ideas.
6'5" senior knocks another one down for Memphis State. And it's a 12-point advantage for Memphis State, their biggest of the night. The early games tonight in Providence, Georgia Tech a winner over Illinois. And here in Dallas, Oklahoma beat Louisiana Tech in overtime 86-84. Forcing that shot, but staying after it is Trevor Gordon, and Gordon finally is fouled.
Well, the big fella is finally starting to assert himself. Number 50 in the dark uniform, Trevor Gordon. Give a lot of credit to Roger McCready for keeping the ball alive, and as Trevor Gordon waits for the contact, he really gets hammered, and he didn't like it.
Foul is on Baskerville Holmes, who is, I guess we could say, hounding Gordon on defense.
Literally so, but as you take a look at Trevor Gordon at the free throw line, he's built, he can stand the pressure.
Gordon, first miss from the free throw line for the BC Center. He has 6 points. 6'9" junior from Philadelphia. And Bedford, who got a brief blow, comes back into the game, replacing Holmes. Didn't get either of them, but the tip-in goes.
And even though Terrence Talley gets credit for that basket, didn't look as if he really had a hand on that.
I think he got a little help, but they credit it to Talley, and that is 4 baskets for Talley, all here in the second half. Memphis State with a 10-point lead with 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Askew, the freshman, off to Beckton, who's had the hot hand. And Bedford again saves it for Memphis State. Cross-court pass out to Askew. He'll play either the off guard for you or the point guard, which he did in high school. The steal by Michael Adams.
This is the tempo BC likes.
Adams with the miss. Beckton with the rebound for Memphis State. The rebound situation has really turned around here in the second half. Memphis State has completely dominated the backboard. Stu Primus will pick up the foul. That's his second. 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. Memphis State by 10. As McCready will get a rest, and Troy Bowers comes back into the game for Boston College. Keith Lee to Turner. Turner penetrating. Shot blocked by Primus. Michael Adams running for BC. Nice pass down the floor. And a fine shot by Talley.
This is the tempo that Michael Adams likes. And he can get those 6'4", 6'5" wing guys down the court quickly also.
So it becomes an 8-point game. 7:15 left to play here at Reunion Arena in Dallas. Another steal. This one by Gordon.
Boy, don't count BC out, huh?
Adams charging down the floor, trying to penetrate on Turner. Sends it back outside to his big center.
Smart move. Bring it back out. Didn't force the shot. Nothing easy showed up.
Here's a chance to trim it to 6, and he does it.
Now it looks
Adams with his 6th basket.
And Frank, it looks like Memphis State is moving just a little sluggishly now. BC trying to take advantage of it. What's going to happen is for BC to continue to get some fresh legs in off of the bench so as to keep that kind of pressure on Memphis State.
They're going to go with a couple of more substitutes. Dana Kirk wants a timeout. Clock stop with 6:43 left to play in the game. Memphis State leading Boston College by 6.
Give me a light.
Hang in there. Gary was telling us yesterday he likes to play a team, you know, for the first time. He thinks he's much more effective rather than in the Big East situation where you run into a team maybe 3 times. Keith Lee batted his own pass out of bounds. And again, Memphis State turns it over. And a chance now for Boston College to trim the lead to 4.
BC displaying a never-say-die attitude. They're continuing to plug away.
There's less than 2 minutes left in the Georgetown-Loyola game, and the Hoyas are up by 7. They would play Georgia Tech in the Eastern Regional Final and the right to go to Lexington on Saturday. Georgia Tech having beat Illinois. Nice shot and a foul. Trevor Gordon slipping underneath for the lay-in. And the foul will go on Bedford, his 2nd.
Just an excellent move by Trevor Gordon. And the key to that move was patience as he gets the ball in heavy traffic. Watch him wait. He gets the big fella to stand straight up, and then he goes up and powers moves nicely to the hoop. Patience was the key. Well, we talked about how this young man has only played organized basketball for about 5 years. Once he polishes his offensive skills, he's got all the tools to really be a force.
Memphis State turns it over again. And now Boston College has a chance to knock the lead down to 1 point. Stu Primus, hot shooter in the first half. But the man who's been hot in the second half has been Talley. Talley with the miss, gets his own rebound and is fouled going up for the shot by Becton.
When you talk about adhering, staying to a game plan, continuing to work it, that's exactly what Boston College has done. They applied the full-court pressure to get back into the game, but look, they continue to get those shots right in the paint area against the big front line, and that's what I talked about before in terms of challenging that front line. Even if you get your shot blocked, that works to your advantage because you know you can get the guy to leave his feet the next time and draw the foul.
Terrence Talley, who did not score in the first half, he has 10 points, all in the second half. He'll get one more. He makes this one. It's a 2-point game with 5 minutes and 59 seconds remaining. And Boston College full court pressure has been paying off. There's another steal by the Eagles. In for the layup is McCready. We're tied at 53. And BC is really pumped up. Memphis State, you recall, was 12 points ahead in the second half of this game. Looked for all the world like it had it under control.
And I was talking about tired legs, but it looks as if they've gotten a second win now, Frank.
Now those turnovers, as you can see by that graphic, have really paid off. Particularly in the second half. Keith Lee, who's been a silent man tonight, 8 points now for Lee.
But you can see who Memphis State goes to in the clutch when they need a basket.
Primus with the jumper, answers down at the other end. Stu Primus with his 7th basket. And again, Memphis State having trouble against this pressure defense by Boston College. Tied at 55 with 5 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the game. Askew inside to Lee, who turns and shoots. The ball curls out. The foul, I believe, will be on McCready. Timeout being called by Dana Kirk. And Memphis State, the possession arrow, which could be a factor down the stretch, is pointing in the direction of Memphis State. So next jump ball, if we have one, it will belong to the Tigers. Team fouls in the second half also could be a factor. BC with 6, Memphis State with 3. So the next time that Boston College fouls, Memphis State will have advantage of the bonus for the remainder of the ball game. And on the other hand, the Tigers have some fouls to give. Lee with the pass outside to Andre Turner. Guarded by Adams. They go for the trap. Nice pass to Boyd. Oh, a great shot.
One super look by Andre Turner. Give him the credit. To take a look at Andre Turner as he's looking, he's got pressure all over him, and his teammate is hustling into position. Excellent move by Dwight Boyd to the open area, but an even better pass by Andre Turner.
Dwight Boyd, the 6'3" freshman, is on the line. That was his first basket of the game. And Turner doing a magnificent job. Saw the trap coming, knew someone had to be open. And he spotted Boyd. Primus coming down with the rebound and is fouled. It goes on Beckton, and that's his second. And it's now 4 team fouls on Memphis State. Boston College is over the limit, so Memphis State will be shooting the 1-and-1 for the remainder of the game as Askew, the freshman, checks back in.
We mentioned at the top, Frank, how this ought to be one of the better tactical games, and it certainly turned out to be just that.
They spot the open man underneath. It is Primus. He tries to get the shot away, or rather McCready, and McCready draws the foul.
And we talked about how McCready likes to use his basket. That last shot by McCready was an excellent example. Watch how he goes up for the shot, double pumps, and he double pumps waiting for the contact. He feels it, and then he releases the ball. Excellent pro type of move by Roger McCready.
And the foul was on Keith Lee, and that is 4 on the Memphis State All-American with 4:37 left to play in the game. McCready, a cool customer on the line, will have one more and a chance to tie this game. It has not been a good night for Keith Lee so far. He's really had his difficulties with only 8 points in this game. And we'd like to welcome those of you who have just finished watching the Georgetown-Loyola game. We're in Dallas at Reunion Arena, Boston College, and Memphis State, and it's a tight one. Frank Lieber along with James Brown. We've got 4 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in this one, and we are tied at 57 in the second game of our doubleheader. Keith Lee has been in foul trouble throughout and has been largely ineffective. And the Tigers have had to do it without him. They ran up a 12-point lead here in the second half, but the pesky Eagles fought back and have managed to tie it. And the foul inside is going to go against Boston College, I believe, against Bedford. Michael Adams is back in the game, the fine point guard. Bedford has picked up his 3rd personal foul. And Talley, who's been a big spark plug for BC here in the second half, gets a rest. He has scored 11 points in the second half of play. There's your timeout situation. The arrow in the favor of Boston College, or rather in favor of Memphis State, and Memphis State also with the advantage of having the 1-and-1 situation for the remainder of the game and having one more foul to give. Stu Primus outside. Goes to Adams, shoots a glance at his coach, Gary Williams, who holds up 4 fingers. Winner of this game qualifies to meet Oklahoma on Saturday afternoon in the Midwest Regional Final here in Dallas. Adams being very patient. BC going for its 3rd upset victory in this tournament. McCready penetrating, can't hit the shot, and the rebound comes down to Vincent Askew, the Memphis State freshman. Now a chance for the Tigers to untie it.
Boston College got the shot they were looking for. They lulled the zone defense to the open spot. Couldn't can it.
Askew looking inside to Bedford, who's had a great night with a career-tying high 22 points. But Bedford has been silent for the last 5 minutes or so. BC's done a good job keeping the ball away from the 7-footer.
And believe it or not, Frank, it's come with BC playing a man-to-man defense, knowing that they're giving up 4 inches across the front line, but the man-to-man defense has worked well for Boston College.
Boston College out-rebounded Memphis State in the first half, but the Tigers have held the advantage here in the second half. But it's been the steals, the turnovers, which have paid off and gotten the Eagles back into this game. 2.5 minutes remaining. Score tied at 57.
And again, Memphis State trying to institute a little bit of patience on the offensive end to take the ball down low to the big guys. But Trevor Gordon, number 50 for Boston College, has really done a nice job of trying to keep the 7-footer out of the blocks.
Askew, the freshman, going into the corner. To Boyd, back outside to Andre Turner. And we get a whistle and a foul called away from the ball on Boston College's Trevor Gordon.
A very late whistle. Unfortunately, that's the 4th personal foul on Trevor Gordon. Frank, I thought he did a very nice job of bodying Bedford up.
Gary Williams, a little concerned as well he might be. A lot of pressure here. Each of these coaches trying to lead their teams to the Final Four for the first time. Memphis State, of course, has been there before, but not under Dana Kirk. Each team, a lot of experience in the Final 16. Memphis State has been there 4 years in a row. And Boston College 4 of the last 5. Bedford with the miss. We are still tied. Michael Adams will hold it on the outside with Stu Primus.
Knowing that Memphis State is going to have to come out and play them now, they're going to try to pull them out of that zone defense and exercise their quickness. Boston College, of course, has the quickness advantage. Hopefully they can take advantage of it if they pull Memphis State out of the zone.
BC with just an amazing comeback in the second half. Looked like the game was out of control. They were down by a dozen. And suddenly, with the full court press, they started forcing the turnovers. Boston College, last time they led this game was with 45 seconds left to play in the first half. Just over 1 minute to go. The winner gets Wayman Tisdale at Oklahoma Saturday afternoon for the right to go to Lexington. Roger McCready back outside to Dominic Presley. Think they're going to run it all the way down and go for the last shot?
I haven't seen the players look at the basket, Frank, so that's a good indication that indeed they're going to try to run it down and maybe go for the game-winning shot.
Or overtime. Wouldn't it be something? We had 2 overtimes here tonight. We've had 1 already, in which Oklahoma beat Louisiana Tech 86-84.
Not a bad tactic by Coach Gary Williams. And again, when they get the clock down to around the 10-second mark, they will take the ball into the paint area and look for the high percentage shot.
You see the seconds ticking away. The score is tied. Boston College 57, Memphis State 57. Michael Adams holding the ball. 15 seconds left in regulation, and Boston College will call timeout to set up an attempt to win this game. 14 seconds left to play. BC 57, Memphis State 57. We'll be back in just a moment.
When you first see the Mazda RX,
Doesn't have a big bread and butter man that they can go to on the inside for a short 2 points. You can count on the ball being in Michael Adams' hands, and he will determine, based on how the defense reacts, what he will do with the ball. Keep in mind that he's played giant killer a number of times this year. He's accustomed to taking the big shot.
And now Dana Kirk says, let's put the heat on him a little longer. And Dana Kirk decides to call a timeout for Memphis State. Still 14 seconds to go, tied at 57, and we'll be back at Reunion Arena on the line here in Dallas. Boston College, Memphis State, tied at 57, 14 seconds to go. It will be Boston College's ball out of bounds with ostensibly the last shot at untying this game, or else we'll go to a 5-minute overtime period, which will be our second of the night here in Dallas. McCready will inbound it. And he calls a timeout, not being able to find anyone to throw the ball to. He has the option to do that. So we'll have to wait a few more seconds. Again, the arrow is pointing in the direction of Memphis State, if that should be a factor. Both teams are in the bonus free throw wise, if that becomes a factor. The most important factor is that Boston College has the ball. Very rarely do you see 3 timeouts back-to-back. We saw it a couple of weeks ago in the Indiana-Michigan game, and here we see it again as McCready will inbound. Gets it in quickly. Stolen. Askew, 8 seconds. Askew back outside to Turner. Turner trying to win it again. He hits it in Houston. And it'll be Memphis State against Oklahoma on Saturday.
You take a look at BC trying to inbalance the ball. They actually get it into Skip Berry, but watch Roger McCready actually pound the ball as opposed to grabbing it with 2 hands. From there, Memphis State brings the ball up court. Rescue was actually trying to work for his shot himself, but gets the ball back to Turner. And again, under pressure, ice cool, Andre Turner, nothing but net.
The final score, Memphis State 59 and Boston College 57. Memphis State and Oklahoma on Saturday. Mike Lieber and James Brown here in Dallas now. Back to Dick Stockton in New York.
Done it in the past, as Michael Adams has for Boston College, but Memphis State, following a big stumbling block, they finally get over the hurdle of a regional semifinal and now will go against Oklahoma in the Midwest Regional Final. The Chevy MVP in the Midwest Regional Semifinal in Dallas in the game you just saw, Terrence Talley of Boston College with good defensive pressure in the second half. He scored 10. And William Bedford, the 7-footer, with 22 points to tie a career high. So Dana Kirk's Memphis State Tigers.
With the ball the entire game, and I felt we could steal the basketball, and it worked. We had done the same thing, same defensive play against Florida State earlier, and when it works, it works. If it doesn't, maybe they go ahead and score, but it was a great shot by Andre Turner.
Well, congratulations on a tremendous victory. Look forward to seeing you against Oklahoma on Saturday.
That's going to be a good one. We look forward to it. It's good to get this close one out of the way, huh?
Dana Kirk, the head coach of the Memphis State Tigers. Right now, let's go to James Brown.
Well, certainly both of these players have every reason to be smiling. I'm standing here with Andre Turner, second week in a row. What gives with these shots of yours?
Well, great defense. Second time in a row, I think Vincent played a great, had a great defensive play there at the end, and Boston College caught the basketball up, and he drove to the basket and made all the players draw to him and found me open back out, and I got it, and I knew that we could either go in overtime or we could win it, and I felt very confident when I let it go.
Well, you pulled it out again, and the big fella, William Bedford, 7-footer. Did you think it would be this easy scoring as you did tonight?
Well, I just took my shots, you know. I didn't worry about the defense. Just turn around and shoot, you know, just like practice, you know, doing we practice in the game. I just turn around and shot, you know, not worrying about the D.
Well, congratulations to the both of you. You've got a big game coming up Saturday now.